The Toronto Raptors have a big offseason ahead of them. This is an offseason where they can really go out and make a splash, and it all depends on how aggressive Masai Ujiri wants to be. May have butchered that name. Help me down in the comments below. But today we're looking at the Toronto Raptors and basically what I would do if I was them this offseason. You got Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. That's a fun young big three. Pascal is aging a bit, but still relatively young when it comes to overall NBA players. So we're going to be looking at the roster today and what they need to do this offseason to fix it. So make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit the subscribe button as well as turning post notifications on. All of those will help us out in the algorithm. Now let's go ahead and get started looking at the offseason guide for the Raptors. They have not much cap space, negative $10 million, but they got about a $42 million cap hold right now with all the player options and stuff. Delano Benton, Jakob Poeltl are both their key free agents, and Gary Trent Jr. and Fred VanVleet have the player options this offseason that is holding that $42 million hostage. They also have the number 13 pick this year in the draft. They do not have any seconds. So let's go ahead and get started looking at the guys, the free agents with the player options. It starts with Fred VanVleet, who has a $23 million player option, and everybody seems to think he's opting out. If I'm the Raptors, I hope he opts out. He averaged 19 points, 4 rebounds, 7.2 assists per game, and you might be thinking, why would you want him to opt out? He's one of, if not your best players. I think it's time to move on. Not efficient at all. 1.8 steals per game this year. Yes, he can hold his own defensively for his size. Overall, he's never going to be a starting guard on a championship team. Yes, he can be, off the bench type guy, or maybe the fifth starter, but he can't be a championship point guard. Now, Gary Trent Jr. is a guy with a $19 million player option that I would like to see brought back. Good defender, and you see he can really score it. 43% from the field, 37% from three, and 1.6 steals. He's also 24 years old, while Fred VanVleet is 28, so yet again another guy that I think should be brought back. Jakob Poeltl, 13 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2.2 assists. A guy they traded for this year at the deadline, could command a lot of money. But, he was good last year, 65% from the field, 1.2 steals, 1.3 blocks. He was the Raptors center for a while before they traded him, and then they went back in, they got their center. Now, like I said, he could command a large $20 million plus contract, though. So you gotta look at yourself and determine if you're willing to pay that. Now, the Raptors are, of course, going to be needing a new head coach. They did part ways with Nick Nurse this offseason. I don't get that. I mean, he just won a championship a few years ago. You got to give coaches, more time than 3 or 4 years to stay. I mean, he was there for 5 years, won a championship, and was already fired. It's crazy. I'm not really sure who they should get. My best guess, or the guy I've seen linked to them the most, is Kenny Atkinson from the Golden State Warriors. Still don't like him for what he did to my Charlotte Hornets. Absolute snake. But, I guess I'll have to get over that. So he is the guy that I've seen linked to the Raptors the most. Raptors fans, y'all let me know down in the comments below, though, who y'all would like. Now, let's get to the fun stuff here. The NBA draft, where I've identified a couple of prospects I think that the Raptors should look at 13. Bilal Coulibaly is the first one here, and if you watch this guy play, and you watch the type of players that the Raptors have had for the last 5 to 10 years, yeah, that's all I gotta say. He fits the mold perfect. A long, athletic wing with unlimited defensive potential that he could play in the NBA for a long time, and he can be really, really, really good. If he develops that jump shot a little bit more, he's going to be unstoppable. They also have Bryce Sensabaugh from Ohio State, a guy that they could look into drafting with the 13th overall pick. That's another decent option. We'll see, though, who they decide to go with, I guess, on draft night. I got a feeling if they can get him, Bilal Coulibaly is going to be the pick. Now, some big trades on the horizon. And honestly, if I'm the Raptors, I'm looking into this. The number 3 pick in Anthony Simons for OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. What do y'all think? Are y'all accepting that? I don't know. I mean, that's definitely franchise changing. You're hitting a bit of a reset button. You're saying, okay, we're going to build around Scottie Barnes going forward. So And you get Anthony Simons as another young piece, maybe another future first from the Blazers. But the Blazers are trying to win now with Dame. The Raptors, you can kind of hit a little bit of a reset button. You've still got a young roster, and you bring in the number 3 pick in the draft. I think it's kind of a win-win there because you can go out and probably select Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson, either one. I hope my Hornets are going to scoot it too. Honestly, I don't know what to make of the situation now. There's so many reports out. I'm going to stick with my gut, stick with Scoot Henderson, but, it could very well be Brandon Miller, and I wouldn't be too mad about that. A 6'9" power forward that can score the basketball. So we'll see what happens. Or 6'9" small forward, I believe. He can really score. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to rock with the Hornets taking Scoot and then the Raptors getting Brandon Miller at 3, which would lead to this being their lineup next year. Anthony Simons at the point guard spot. Remember, he is a very nice young guard. Also talking about retaining Gary Trent Jr., he could be a very nice young piece going forward. You got Brandon Miller at the 3 with that number 3 overall pick in the draft, the guy that can really score it, can shoot. He's going to be good as well. You got Scottie Barnes, who is an already developed, he's a good young piece on this Raptors team. And then Jakob Poeltl at the 5. I think this is a team that, you don't have the Pascal Siakam or the OG Anunoby, but so you're going to be obviously taking a step back next year. But this is a young team. Simons is young. Trent Jr. will be 25 next year. Poeltl will be, 28? He'll be the oldest one on here. Brandon Miller is going to be 20. Scottie Barnes 22. I mean, that looks like a lot of talent for head coach Kenny Atkinson or whoever they bring in to work with his first year. Now the bench unit. This is interesting. Delano Banton, Otto Porter Jr. as the guards. I'm not saying that's going to be their full-time guard rotation. They can definitely sign somebody, but we'll just have to see how everything works out with the money this offseason. If they do trade Siakam and OG for Anthony Simons, that's a lot of cap also cleared, so you would probably put that into upgrading your bench unit, or maybe you sign another starter. I'm not sure, but then you got those two. Then you got Bilal Coulibaly at the backup 3, Precious Achiuwa, and then Chris Boucher. A lot of question marks. A lot of question marks there. Definitely not the greatest bench in the world, but like I said, if you do make those 2 moves, you will have a lot of money to go out and bring in bench depth, other pieces. It'll be nice. I think that, that trade would help them out a lot. The insane length on this team, there's one person that's under 6'5", and I think it's Gary Trent Jr. at 6'4". That's what the Raptors have been trying to build here over the last couple of years. That's the way the NBA is going. You get as many long, versatile, athletic wings as you can, and you just go out there and have fun. Now, I think they are missing that killer scoring from the guard position, like we're seeing with Jamal Murray in the playoffs right now. And, Anthony Simons can develop into somebody that can give you that. I think he will be a nice young piece going forward for sure. I mean, you've already seen he's being groomed by Damian Lillard to be the next Damian Lillard. In this case, it just would not be in Portland. So with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like button and leave me a comment down below. Also, hit the subscribe button as it'll really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure to let me know your thoughts on that trade down in the comments below if you're a Toronto fan or if you're just a Portland fan. Let me know. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.